If it is or if it ain't, it's going to come out. Good morning, everybody. It's your girl, Miracle Sims, and you are listening to God, Sex, and Love, your daily dose of inspirational juice. It is February the 2nd, 2022, and today the topic is a new leaf. A new leaf, y'all. Well, long story short, I mean, my yesterday, my 1st of February, on one hand, it was kind of regular, but on the other hand, I would say that it was very significant. Long story short, I mean, I felt led to share a little bit with you all. I may not go into a lot of detail, but we'll see. We'll see what the Lord do. Well, y'all know I did the juice and everything like that. Got some rest. Y'all know my little man, he's still off visiting. We didn't talk about it afterwards, but we didn't even talk about it yesterday because I realized that I was trying something new, y'all. I was trying something new, and I was recording with a different program. And then after I wrapped up the juice yesterday, I realized that the program that I was recording on didn't save. And so I had this whole process of like getting the audio from the video version and making that the audio and doing all that. So yeah, that's one thing that happened yesterday. But then after that, I pretty much just got my rest and everything like that. Next thing I know, hubby's going off to work. And then soon after, I headed down to my hometown. What I didn't tell y'all, I guess I would say over the weekend. Yeah, maybe I don't know when it was, but my sister reached out to say that Dad was calling a meeting. And, I didn't know what to think. I didn't know what to think when I got the message or whatever. But obviously I was like, well, it must be something important and everything like that. Now, don't get, I did joke. I ain't gonna lie. I did kind of joke about it. Was like, look, man, is this something that could be done in a Zoom? Because, 45 minutes to an hour, like, we really gonna talk about something or we not gonna talk? Like, what we doing? Like, if we just try to plan a trip or something, like, you know what I'm saying? We can just do this on Zoom, call me on the phone, like. But, I mean, I figured it was something serious or whatnot, because I just was like, for him to call a meeting, I figured it was gonna be something serious. I won't go too deep again into everything. But basically, that meeting took place yesterday. And I would say that, you know what, after reflecting on it and everything like that, I feel like it was well needed. I'm glad that it was done. I'm glad that I went. And I'm glad that it was done. I mean, I've shared my journey on here. Y'all know my life, I think. So y'all understand, I guess, the dynamics of, like, at least some parts of my family and whatnot. And so, I know the subject came up as we were discussing about, the family being blended and all this and whatnot. And, I mean, to be honest, I don't think much about that, because again, as it came up, I mean, I felt like other people were saying this on my behalf or something. But I mean, I don't never, how can I say? Like, I understood that, the gentleman I call my dad, is, like, I know the technicalities and everything, but again, with my father having passed before I was born and I, never had met him and everything like that, it's it's true. This gentleman that I call my dad is my dad. You know what I mean? He's the only father figure, that I've known in life. And so in a lot of ways, I mean, I and the children he had, and everything like that, I think of as siblings. Now obviously they were older than me and my sister, and so they were kind of like, I feel like they were all grown as we were coming up. So it wasn't anything like growing up together and whatnot. Um, but I mean, that didn't mean anything. I mean, they just, to me, it didn't. But there was always like little tensions here and there, not necessarily with me, but within the family. And so, again, I think that the meeting yesterday was needed. I felt like things were brought on the table. Believe that people got their hearts and minds clear. I was more observant than anything, and I know people kept calling that out yesterday. Like, yes, I'm the same miracle. And I'm like, not really. I mean, I think for me, if anything, and I know, and I thought about this actually before I went live. I know for y'all that listen to the podcast, watch the talk show, uh, anything y'all, for for me to say this next thing might be like, what you talking about, miracle? Um, but I think for me, my observation of my life is that I think I felt like I feel like I spent the majority of my life finding my voice, figuring out how to use my voice and my thoughts and my finding myself in this process of life. You know what I'm saying? So um so in a lot of ways I think a lot of us may feel estranged in this family dynamic. You know what I'm saying? Like and so uh the meeting, right, I feel was a good way to, like my topic today says, turn a new leaf, right? To hear people's perspective, hear their hearts, and see where we can go from here. You know, so even this morning, as I was doing my prayer meditation, and I guess reflecting on everything, I was coming up with some ideas of things to do. Some things to do differently and whatnot, and y'all know I like to put together little shindies and whatnot. So I'm thinking of things that perhaps that I can do with my sisters and things like that. And so, um, we'll see what the Lord do. We'll see what the Lord do. Um, but I mean, again, for those that was there, because everybody was not there for the meeting. But still, I felt like it was a good way to set a new foundation, right? Like, okay, we know what was done in the past, but let's do something different now. And I say even let's be intentional about doing something different now. I think that's pretty much what that meeting did. So of course everybody has to do their part, right? To do something different, but at least the foundation has been set. You know what I'm saying? Um, so with that being said, I mean, I guess that transfers to this topic for today. uh, a new leaf. When I actually looked up the phrase that comes from, um, it's called, turn over a new leaf. I'm sure people have heard that before. But if not, that pretty much means start to act or behave in a better or more responsible way. That's what it said when I Googled it and everything like that. And so, yeah. Yeah. So when looking up Bible verses centered around this idea, I had to kind of look up a lot of different stuff. I was looking up, change and responsibility and all these different things. And I can't remember the exact word that helped me get to verses that I found that I'm going to share with you all this morning. But regardless of that, uh, let's go. Let's get into it. So here we go. Romans 12:2. It says, "Do not be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewal of your mind, that by testing you may discern what is the will of God, what is good and acceptable and perfect." This is not a verse that is new to the juice. You know what I'm saying? I feel like I've shared this verse, I mean, multiple times, but I would say today it kind of reiterates this idea of turning a new leaf. Like, and I feel like I've said this before too, but hey, whoever's listening to the sound of my voice today, maybe we all need to reflect on this. I don't know. But a lot of the times, the change that we're looking for, right, it starts with us and our minds. Like changing your mind about whatever something is, or whatever, or however you do something, is probably what's going to lead to the change that we all seek. I've seen that in my life. I feel like this right here, the juice, is the perfect example of this. I've seen this throughout my life multiple times. So sometimes it starts with just that, in my humble opinion. Sometimes it just starts with changing your mind about something. I don't know exactly what it was that led to my dad asking us to have this meeting yesterday, for example. Now, obviously, I would say perhaps just me, just kind of, as they say, spitballing. I'm assuming that perhaps he was thinking about this and thinking like, things could be better. I would like to see my children more. I would like to see my grandchildren more. Whatever. Like maybe something had came on his heart and mind, right? Knowing how things has been, and knowing in his mind that, hey, I want to do something different here. And so, and the first different thing to do, or that he did, was to call this meeting. So it's like it's in your mind, and then you make steps towards it, right? You renew your mind, and then you make steps towards the change. I don't know. That's just one example. Again, I can't speak for him and say his testimony. I don't know, right? So again, I mean, for those of you all that have not heard my testimony, let me just share about the juice. Since I said the juice is the perfect example. Again, I've thought about this idea for years. I thought about doing GSL, God, Sex, and Love, in a different way. I thought about a talk show. I thought about an audience. I thought about all these little things, panels, and, making it a show and all this stuff. And I was working towards it. But I had to renew my mind and the idea. You know what I'm saying? Like if I was just so stuck on the way I wanted to do it, which I was stuck on that way for a while. And that left me stagnant in ways, because it's like I wasn't reaching the goal, or I wasn't getting to where I thought it should be. But then when I'm renewing my mind and opening my mind to other ideas, stepping out on faith and doing this, the juice, was that thing that helped me take things to the next level. And then now I still do the talk show. I might not have a live audience, but at the same time, again, I've reached so many people around the world. Just the conversations that I've had, like regardless of who's watching and listening, just the people that I've met by doing this that are around the world, and the conversations and the things like that, are unmatched, because there's no way, if I was just doing it here, right, with the things that was on my mind, if I was just doing it here in Georgia, like a lot of the people that I've talked to probably would not have been on the show, if that makes any sense here. So, but regardless, I had to change my mind, right? I had to renew my mind and whatnot, and then make the effort, right, to change, and be intentional about change and all those different things, so just saying, that's what I was reflecting on this morning when I, read and wrote down this first verse. But let me keep going. Let me show what else I came across this morning. So Galatians 5:22 and 23. It says, "But the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, self-control. Against such things there is no law." I would say what stood out to me this morning in that verse was, against such things there is no law. I guess we think about like all the laws, right? Or the sins or the things that, the thou shalt nots, right? We focus a lot on the thou shalt nots. And so, really, and this is going to be in the Go Deeper section as well, really we should set our minds on the things that are mentioned before, right? Love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, all those different types of things. That's what our minds needs to be on, because there's no law against those things. That's what we need to be doing, right? Now, how does this tie in with the new leaf? Well, I mean, again, I feel like that's renewing our mind again. It's just breaking it down another way to know that, okay, instead of focusing on the thou shalt nots, right, and focusing on doing the thou shalt nots, focus on love, right? Focus on joy. Focus on peace. Focus on having patience. Focus on showing kindness. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's again, a renewing of our minds. It's turning a new leaf, changing our minds about the things. I don't know. I mean, we can all go deeper with this, go deep with this idea. But to me, again, what stood out the most was the part that says, against such things there is no law. One more verse I wanted to share was 2 Corinthians 5:17. It says, "Therefore, if anyone is in Christ, he is a new creation. The old has passed away. Behold, the new has come." So when turning a new leaf, right? Coming to Christ is a way to turn a new leaf. Hey, even with the family dynamic, that's turning a new leaf. But let's talk about coming to Christ, right? So you are a new creation. The old has passed away. Behold, the new has come. You'll notice in life, and I feel like I reflected on this multiple times, but here we go. Sometimes in life, you may be turning a new leaf, right? You may be renewing your mind on some things. You may be trying to exercise all the things that was mentioned in that previous verse, exercising peace and kindness and love and all that. And then here comes temptation, right? Or here comes something to throw you off track of that. Whether it's someone there to remind you of what you used to be and do, or whether it's something that is triggering, your patience, and everything like that. One thing I would say is that, again, depending on where you are spiritually, those type of things might be difficult and they might drag you back a little bit, but regardless of that, and regardless of what, people trying to bring up your past and all those different things, understanding that, hey, with Christ, I am a new creation, and I don't have to live there anymore. I'm doing a new thing in my life. I'm taking some steps to renew my mind and things like that. Hopefully that helps you find strength. Hopefully it helps us all to find some type of strength in the midst of those storms, because you're gonna have those storms, right? You're gonna have those temptations. You're gonna have those things that's gonna try to get you back to what you used to do and used to be and stuff. Like, I mean, I hope and pray, for example, our family moves forward from that conversation last night. We move forward in a way where, putting aside whatever faults, putting aside whatever alts, putting aside whatever things that we may have had issues with in the past with each other or whatever the case is, put aside those things and put forth some effort for renewal of mind, renewal of our relationships and all those things to become closer and turn a new leaf. Turn a new leaf, rather than keep focusing on the old. And I believe that, as Christians, this is something that, we should do, not only with ourselves as we come to Christ, but with others, right? Because we're supposed to be showing that grace and mercy that God has showed us. As Christians, as believers, right, we're supposed to know that at the end of the day, hey, man, I was there too. I was right there where you were, for example. And I can't judge you, friend, for taking a little longer to come to Christ or taking a little longer to turn a leaf or whatever. But I could be here with you, you know what I'm saying? I could show that kindness, that patience, that, all those different things. So yeah, let's make sure we're not being the one that's like holding things back. Let's not be the one that's like holding someone else back. If people are trying to turn a new leaf, let them turn a new leaf, man. If you see people trying to renew their minds and do things God's way and come to Christ, whatever the case is, do what you can to help that. Don't be the hindrance. Don't be the stumbling block. That's the juice, y'all. That's the juice this morning. Ooh. The Bible verse of today is 2 Corinthians 1:3-4. It says, "Blessed be God, even the Father of our Lord Jesus Christ, the Father of mercies and the God of all comfort, who comforteth us in all our tribulation, that we may be able to comfort them which are in any trouble by the comfort wherewith we ourselves are comforted by God." Friends, I hope you all enjoyed this juice this morning. Thank you so much for listening to God, Sex, and Love, your daily dose of inspiration, the juice. I pray you guys can go forth and have a wonderful day, and I look forward to talking to you all tomorrow, if the Lord's will. Bye-bye.
Everyone is stuck at home, but life is still happening around us every day. Birthdays, anniversaries, holidays, and celebrations. Send your friends and family the gift of wine from the comforts of home. Wine shop at home with Miracle of Wine. Wine, gift baskets, wine accessories, and more at miracleofwine.com.